All right, I'm going to call the meeting room to order. It is 5:32 on June 23rd, 2026. So a regular meeting of the Morton County Commission. Our first item will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do a roll call. Commissioner Morrell? Here. Commissioner Tokash? Here. Commissioner Buckley?
Here.
Commissioner Zachmeyer?
Yes.
And myself, Commissioner Boehm. We also have Auditor Rowan up here at the front, and State's Attorney Copy and Sheriff Kirkmeyer in the back of the room. Next will be the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to discuss the planter and some of the grounds work outside. I visited with Blaine about it.
Okay, we'll add that under other. Any other additions or corrections to the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda with change.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda with change. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next we have the approval of minutes of the previous meeting, Morton County Commission regular meeting on June 4th, 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes for the Morton County Commission regular meeting, June 4th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the Morton County Commission regular meeting on June 4th, 2026. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Monthly bills and payroll. Commissioner Buckley, those are yours this month.
They were, and we spent a lot of money this month, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion. I found everything to be in order. Make a motion to approve bills and payroll.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve monthly bills and payroll. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Buckley?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tokash?
Yes.
Commissioner Zachmeyer?
Yes.
And myself, Commissioner Boehm, yes. Motion carries. All right.
Chair,
Yes.
the minutes, did that include the Board of Equalization minutes, that motion?
No, it did not.
yet.
We got two of them there. Okay, we got to back up. Sorry, there are two of them there. Just said previous meetings. We also have the minutes from the Morton County Tax Equalization meeting on June 4th, 2026. Any?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting on June 4th, 2026.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the Board of Equalization meeting on June 4th, 2026. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Sorry about that. All right, with that, we'll get into our regular agenda. First up tonight is the Lewis and Clark Development Group, even though I threatened to move them to the end.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for having me.
Microphone's not on.
It's not on.
We didn't want to hear you anyway.
There's a little slide.
There. All right. Now you can hear me. Well, good evening. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brent Exner. I'm the Executive Director of the Lewis and Clark Development Group. And I'm just coming here to give you an update of what we've been doing last year and what we have going on. A lot of stuff is we have within the organization. I believe you have some stuff in your packet that was sent out that just kind of highlights a couple of things that we've done, as well as some of the numbers for the county that we have done. But I really want to have just kind of highlight a couple of things that's been happening across the state, and a couple of the different programs that we have out there that are definitely I think going to be beneficial to the counties. So a couple things. One, we hired a resource development specialist, and that's Micah Gear. Micah's back here. So Micah's role is, and I think I might have talked about this last year, but Micah's role is basically anytime somebody at the county or the city or a business wants to grow or expand or do a project, his job is basically to provide technical assistance to go out and help find those grants, help find those other resources. Maybe not all grants, maybe low interest loans. But if you have a project, I know Ray's working on a project. That staff can come over, they can contact him, he will do some of the legwork out there. He's building a repertoire of all of the different programs that are out there. But he will look and search and find what's going on and to try to help that. And then once we identify those, if they're like lending projects that we have, lending programs that we have, that's pretty easy. We start our process there. But he'll actually work with them to help them get these grant applications put in. So a lot of these smaller communities probably don't have full-time, like Hebron probably doesn't have a full-time person that can go out there and apply for these grants. And they don't have the expertise, they don't have the time or the expertise. That's where Micah comes in to do that. So we've hired him to do that. We've hired another person, if you're aware of the Rural Health Transformation Grant that came out of the federal government. It was a part of the big beautiful bill. It was not a replacement for Medicaid, but it is rural funding that was part of that, as to try to subsidize and help with some of the Medicaid funding that's out there. And so it's $250 million a year for the next 5 years for the state of North Dakota. That's a lot of money to get out. The North Dakota Department of Health and Human Services just does not have the capacity, or did not have the capacity to do that. And so they have actually contracted with all 8 of the regional councils to do that, to help provide that technical assistance. These grants are rolling out one after the other. So we hired Nicole Pavlicek, and so she is here, and that is her sole job, is to reach out, work with the communities. These are grants, everything from suicide prevention to walking paths to medical equipment. It's just almost anything in there. It's not a replacement for Medicare and Medicaid, but these grants are designed to improve the system, the medical system out there, to make it, and it's all rural, right? So it has to be out in the rural areas. So that is her job. She's working obviously closely with Micah, because they're both kind of that same thing. So we have those 2 people out there. So again, we're just trying to be that resource so that you guys don't have to take your staff time. These small communities don't have to take their staff time to come to us. They can come to us, and we can help them get these grants and apply for these. There's a lot of money, I think, that we've been leaving on the table over the last few years, and now we should be able to access a lot of that. Beyond that, we've expanded some of our lending programs. We continue to have it's the North Dakota, or the Northern Plains Food Infrastructure Fund. That's money available to diversify the meat and poultry industry, the processing industry. So anybody that, if you recall back in COVID, when that hit and the big 4 shut down, the federal government came out with a program to diversify those big 4, and so it's a program that basically it's a revolving loan fund that we have. And it's anybody that's not the big 4. So even like Cloverdale qualifies for it. But we've also done smaller projects. We've done a project out of steel, a brand new butcher shop there. We just opened one up in Minot. We're working with a number of them here in Morton County, as well as all of our 10 county areas. But it's actually a multi-state, because we allocated out $15 million already. We had another $15 million allocated to our organization to loan out, to diversify that. So if you have anybody that is looking at expanding their processing, it's anything. It can't do so in the initial round, it's processing meat, poultry, pork, bison. It can do all of that. When it revolves back in and we go to lend it back out, it's anything in the food chain industry except grocery stores. Like the grocery stores, the restaurants aren't eligible, and production ag isn't eligible, but everything in between is. So if it's a warehousing facility that's going to sell to, or going to distribute out to 15 different restaurants, that warehousing facility would be part of that. A trucking company wants to buy refrigerated trailers to move that food processing, that would work. That would be part of that. So anything that's in there, again, as always, the easiest way to figure out if it's eligible, just to give us a call. So we have that program. We also expanded, we added a Vet Advantage program, so trying to support our veterans. It's a part of our SBA 504, our long-term fixed rate financing. We added that in there, and what that is it's the same 504 program, except it has reduced fees. It's a little bit better term, a little bit better fees and stuff, so it's reducing those fees to encourage veterans to start or expand a business. So Derek Becker is our director of the regional council. He oversees all of our lending programs. He's sitting back there as well. He would be the person to contact about all of our lending on our small business stuff. We continue to expand our housing. Continue to work on a project out here in Mandan. Still going to try to do that. Looking at doing some applications there, but we actually acquired another company, and now we own and manage apartments in Hebron. So we've expanded that as well. So if you have in these smaller communities, it's really hard to get professional management for these properties. Again, we're not here to compete with the market rate management companies. We just do the income qualified ones that have the certifications and stuff like that. So we continue to do that as well. So we've gone from, we're now up to, this is actually a little bit dated because we actually have 5 companies now. So we're under our 5th company under there. We have our 3 that do our lending, and then we have our 3 that do our housing, 2 that do our lending. So we continue to do property management. So if you do have properties that need to be, that might need that professional management in some of these smaller, if you hear of somebody that needs to have that, let us know. We continue to expand that. So overall, we got a lot going on. That's just touching on it, and as usual, we continue to do a substantial amount of lending out of our organization. You can see by the impact form that we send out every year. So far since the 90s, we've done about $56 million in Morton County, so not too bad. If you put all the money that we've put in through our housing and through the leverage that we've gotten from these other sources into the projects here, about $235 million since 1990. So we're not doing too bad. We did, I think, last year just hit the $1 billion mark organization-wide as far as total leverage and total projects that we've done. So couldn't do it without you guys' help. We appreciate your dues. Again, last year we dropped your dues. If you remember, they used to be 0.15. Even about 5 years before that, they used to be 0.2. But with everything that went on with the capping at the legislature, we did drop that down to 0.125. We're keeping that same again this year. So dues are relatively about the same as they were last year. So I believe those letters and invoices have gone out. If not, they're coming out really shortly. And so with that, I will open it up to any questions, comments, concerns of what we got going on at the development group.
The letters did show up in the mail already, so.
Yeah, we're pretty good about that. Hopefully it wasn't sticker shock, it shouldn't have been.
No. Just a quick question, did St. Anthony Meats request any funding from you guys?
So they were actually funded out of the rural, the rural electric cooperatives, they actually got the same program that we did. So
Okay.
they used theirs. So
Okay.
they took advantage of the same program, they just didn't use our money.
Okay.
Yep.
Commissioners, have any questions for Brent?
Mr. Chairman, I guess,
Yes.
Brent, we did post on the planning and zoning the information about the grant for the livestock development.
I
That's
forgot
been
all about that.
We posted that. Natalie did that. It's on the planning and zoning.
Yeah,
part of
perfect.
the
So,
website.
if you're not aware, we did that, last year we conducted that, had consultants come in there, so now it gives you guys a little bit better of a tool. It was no cost to the county, and basically it kind of gives you good, better, and best locations for rural livestock. If somebody wanted to do a feedlot or something like that, you can look at that map and say, well, that might not be the best place. They took into account electricity, water, roads, all this stuff, zoning, all that in order to do that. That's in there. There's 2 parts of it. There's the public part, which I'm sure is what's on the website, and then there's the private part that's just for so that has a little bit more detail to it. And but the legislature obviously didn't want to have all that released, so that's actually in the legislation. That's why that is not open to public records. That's just for your guys' planning purposes. But yeah, so it's going to be it's a tool for you guys. We're happy that we could do that for you. And it's just about 90% of the counties throughout the state took part in that planning process, so that those same type of maps are across there. So hopefully that helps you in planning your future developments.
And the biggest issue in there is water.
It is across, yeah, all of them.
Across the state.
I don't know, I know Jackie was at the meeting where they did it for the 10 counties, and water was the reason that most of them, had where they weren't not the top level as far as development, so, absolutely. So I can't do anything about that, can't make it rain, but I'll try anything else.
Water and water infrastructure. Any other questions for Brent?
Mr. Chair, just a comment for Lewis Clark Development Group as a whole. I've had the privilege of working with Lake Agassiz, South Central, Service Basin, and of course Lewis and Clark, and the amount of resources that they bring to local jurisdictions is just a wonderful resource for everything that they impact.
John, thank you. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brent. Next up, Don LaFleur. Got a couple, literally a couple abatements.
Yeah. Although I gotta fill in till our planning and zoning director gets back, I guess. So I'm gonna go long-winded version on these. First one up is homestead abatement from the city of Mandan. That's abatement 7233. This is going back to 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve homestead abatement 7233 for 2024, City of Mandan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve abatement 7233 for 2024, homestead abatement for City of Mandan. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
All right.
Second abatement is 7234. This is the homeowner that contacted us after the Board of Equalization regarding their valuation for 26. So myself and an assessor did go out there. The biggest issue was a new shop that they're building that has living quarters in it. They're doing the living quarters on their own. And he's kind of doing it as he has time. So it wasn't quite as far along as what we thought it was. We did go through the entirety of the house and the shop just to make sure everything was correct. But the main issue came down to the shop, so we did apply what we consider construction obso, so it just reduces the value that we have on it until it's completed. So we did increase that construction obso, which reduced the value by about $30,000. So that's what the abatement is for. It's just to reduce their 2026 valuation accordingly.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve abatement number 7234 for the purpose of construction, ongoing construction.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve abatement 7234 for year 2026 for reassessment. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
it's relevant to this, but it's more so for on the construction side for the tax assessor's office, but obviously a permit was pulled for this,
Yes.
and for the permit you give a duration of 6 months or 1 year?
We give them as much time as it takes,
As long as they're showing
they
progress.
stay in contact with us.
Okay,
If they drop out of contact, we do cancel them after, I think it's a year.
right.
So, but as long as they stay in touch with us, we'll keep them open, because a lot of times when they do them themselves, and especially if they're doing them as they get funding, these can drag on 5, 6 decade,
Yeah.
whatever it takes to get it done. So we don't penalize them as long as they just stay in touch with us and say, oh, I'm not gonna get anything done on it this year, come back next year, whatever it is,
Yep.
so.
Just want to clarify that, thanks.
Any further discussion? Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Good evening, Commissioners. Our first item today is the South 5 subdivision, which is in the north half of Section 3, Township 139 North, Range 85 West. This is located about 2¼ miles northeast of New Salem. So it's the ETA of New Salem. Property is here. The applicants would like to break off a 5-acre residential lot from that north half of the quarter. This would be the third lot within the northeast quarter and the fourth lot within the northwest quarter. It splits the quarter, but in either case, it would not exceed our threshold for development in the agricultural zone or future land use priority. Missouri West Water does have a line in proximity that could serve this subdivision, and Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. I'll put the plat up. So on the plat, it does establish an access easement to get to the lot, and I can take any questions.
Commissioners have any questions for Natalie? Okay. Anybody have any comments on this one? We don't have public hearings tonight. They're not published, but we do allow comments. Some of these, there's one of them in here that has had 3 public comment periods, 3 meetings. We're going to limit that one to 10 minutes, 5 for and 5 against. We've all heard it, unless you have something brand new. Please give us information that can help us make up our mind, okay? We don't want to drag this out when we've all heard it, but we will listen to comments. So is there any comments from anybody on this, on the first one, on the South 5 subdivision? Okay. Commissioners, motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to allow approval of the final plat of the short form subdivision known as South 5 subdivision from Ron and Margot Kuntz, and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential on approximately 5 acres in the north half of Section 3, Township 139 North, Range 85 West in Morton County.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as South 5 subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Our next item is the Benindall subdivision. This is in the northwest quarter of Section 3, Township 138 North, Range 84 West. This is located about 1½ miles south of Judson on the east side of County Road 84. They are looking to break off a 2.2 acre residential lot from the quarter section. So this would be, this is the quarter section, so it'd just be the second buildable lot in that quarter. It has an existing residence on it that is served by power and Missouri West Water. So just setting aside that right away and then the lot there. And I can, Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval, and I can take any questions.
Commissioners, any questions? No? Any comments? Okay, that's it. Any? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the final plot of the short form subdivision known as Benindall subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential as the subdivision conforms to the regulations established in Article 7 of the Morton County Land Use Code and conforms to the land use priorities established in the 2045 Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision. Short form subdivision. It's a short term in here.
Oops.
Short form subdivision known as Benindall subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Just messes me when I'm trying to read it.
Oh, okay, I was like, I feel like phones do that, but Word doesn't tend to do, yeah.
Yeah.
Our next item is the Prairie Flats subdivision. This is in the north half of Section 31, Township 138 North, Range 80 West. This is located off of 1806 and County 138A. The applicant would like to break off a 5.67 acre lot. They do want to keep it as an agricultural use. It's just they did not have an opportunity to buy acreage that would conform to our standards for ag. So staff advised them the only fitting category would be estate. They're not looking to put a house on it. So this would be conserving that parcel for ag. That is important because on this diagram, you can see this is the view shed, Veteran Cemetery view shed that does still apply in our comprehensive plan. The plan says that we want to reserve this area or not encourage new development here. So, you know, we certainly aren't going to limit ag uses, and this being broken off can still be considered an ag use because it's essentially ag without an entitlement for a residence. So for that reason, staff had recommended approval. Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval. So they are setting aside right away on 138A up to the property boundary that they own. The road is not centered along that corridor exactly the way a road might usually be centered. So this plat is dedicating as much right away as they have property to dedicate. So I guess staff, I don't see a problem with that. Planning and Zoning didn't either. So with that, Planning and Zoning recommended approving the short form subdivision and rezoning from ag to estate. And I can take any questions.
So if it's going to estate, was not residential, what are they putting on there then?
Estate.
So,
That would be the zoning.
yeah, but I mean, what kind
Oh,
of?
grain bins. They want to put grain bins on there.
Okay. I'm just thinking ahead here, because if you put grain bins in there, your access onto 1806 there is going to be,
It wouldn't be on 1806.
it'll be out to the north and then over. Is that road good enough then if you're using grain bins? It's going to be a lot of trucking.
Yeah. At least it's a short way to go, but yes. And they could apply, I mean, they could apply, I don't know if the state would give them one out onto 1806, but they can.
You have an approach. I don't think they'd approve that.
Mm-hmm.
You have their approach there. It's just that short amount of gravel. I know that area around there is not the best for the roads are break up real quick.
Mr. Chair, consolation is that definitely is a slow speed if he's making that quick of a turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not picking up speed. It's
No.
going to be just whether it's soft or not, and more weight restriction time of year and that kind of thing when you're hauling grain on that section of our county road. And we get it all over the county, so it's not like it's anything different. It's just you're putting a grain bin site in a view shed area.
Yeah.
There's no restrictions on height anymore on the grain bins or on anything, is
Well,
there?
we just we don't restrict ag.
Right. Because a
'Cause
5,000 bushel bin versus a 20,000 bushel bin is a lot of difference.
yes. Yeah, they didn't say what type of bins they were going to put there.
Any other questions?
Just a quick refresher, we don't restrict ag, but if this is going to estate, it it restricts usage quite substantially, doesn't it? Because the estate is a transitional, intent is transition from ag to possibly multifamily, or excuse me, possibly residential
No,
or anything else?
no.
Okay.
Estate is essentially, I don't like using it a lot, because the whole purpose of it was so that small parcels of land could transfer and remain in, usually they wouldn't be used for anything. It would be used, as part of a field that might be on the wrong side of a creek or something, and neighbors could swap. That's really the intent of what it was for. It has been used more often, but it essentially you could put like a vet kennel, or like animal boarding, things that are kind of transitional, ag oriented, and you can do on it what you could do on ag, but without the bigger uses that you'd need a special use permit for in ag, or you can't do that in estate. So it's limited, yes. And you don't have a house or a residence by right on it.
Right.
See, I'm
I
not-
I will say, I struggled with this one.
Well, and I am too. A house or a residence isn't gonna be up in that view shed like we had talked about, and I know that kinda got taken away a little bit, but it still is a concern. I mean, I've got two in-laws that are down there, and I go to that cemetery quite often. So what do you wanna see from there?
Right, and just the fact that you're breaking it off and making it smaller. That's what I really struggled with.
Yeah, it's such an odd little piece of nothing.
Exactly. And I said, can't you just buy 35 acres? And no,
It's not available, I suppose.
well, I won't.
Yeah, we won't
speak
get
to the
into that.
reasons,
Okay, any other questions? Okay,
Mr. Chairman, you ready for a motion?
I'm ready.
Did you want to take any other comment, or?
Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you. Is there any comment from anyone in the room on this one? Shop? Yes.
Forgive me for how messy I am today, coming in late, but yeah, the intent when I spoke with Natalie was to put up grain storage, which is still fitting in the 2045 plan. We live a half mile north of there, keep a clean place. We'll intend to do so here. I also go to the vet cemetery. I like the view. I'm more focused at the cemetery when I'm at the cemetery, not what's around it. But I understand the concerns. However, that being said, I'm keeping it ag use, which fits in the plan. So that would be my only comment, but I'd answer any questions. I don't know as far as size of bins. I can't see the future that far. Right now I need storage, so.
Clayton, would you say who you are for the?
Clayton Schaff, sorry, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Clayton. Anybody have any questions for Clayton? Okay. I guess not. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm ready.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the final plot of the short form subdivision known as Prairie Flats subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to estate as the subdivision conforms to the regulations established in Article 7 of the Morton County Land Use Code and does not expand development within the Veteran Cemetery viewshed beyond agricultural uses.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Prairie Flats subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to estate. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'll vote a no on this one, so, as recorded. Motion carries. And it had, just the whole thing is a little odd, Clayton. It's just a small plot and, yeah. It's all right. It went through.
Okay, our next item is the Becker subdivision. This is in the northeast quarter of section 32, township 138 north, range 81 west. This is located about 2.25 miles southwest of the Mandan Airport. The applicant is looking to divide a 40-acre subdivision. So we have agricultural and then some residential around here. So they're dividing 35 acres and then, or a little more than 35, or 35 and then 3. So a 3-acre residential lot and then 35 acres, leaving that as ag. So the request is for that subdivision, 2-lot subdivision with a rezoning for just lot 1 to residential. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, and I can take any questions.
Commissioners, any questions for Natalie? While they're thinking, does anybody in the audience have a comment? Oh, okay. I am ready for a motion whenever someone has one.
Mr. Chairman, I would move for the approval of the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Becker subdivision and the zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential on lot 1. And the other one on lot 2 would remain agricultural, I should say, on approximately 40 acres in the northeast section of northeast quarter of section 32, township 138 north, range 81 west, Morton County.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Becker subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential on lot 1 only. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, Natalie.
Our next item is the Cloverleaf subdivision. This is in the southeast quarter of section 34, township 139 north, range 82 west. This is located about 3/4 miles southwest of the Mandan landfill. So landfill is in purple, going down over here. The request is to break off 1 residential lot from that quarter. This is 9.16 acres. This would be the second buildable lot in that quarter. So it does have an existing residence on there. They use a well, they have power service. The Missouri West water line is fairly close, but it's already set up as a functioning residence. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, and I can take any questions.
So there's already a residence on that one?
Yes.
It
Yes,
just
there's
hadn't-
breaking it off from the quarter.
Just hadn't gotten changed to residential.
Well, so it was part of the larger
Okay,
quarter, and they just are breaking it off.
okay. Commissioners, any questions? Anyone in the audience have any comments? And I keep forgetting Heidi, is there anybody online? There's a few. They need to, if there's somebody flags you or puts their hand up. Yep. Anybody online, just put your hand up on the online comments and Heidi will let me know. Okay. All right. Do we have a motion or not?
Mr. Chair, motion to approve final plat for a short form subdivision known as Cloverleaf subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential on approximately 9.16 acres in the southeast quarter, section 34, township 139 north, range 82 west of Morton County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Cloverleaf subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential. Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, Natalie?
Our next item is the Great Plains Tower LLC special use permit for a telecommunications facility. This is in the northeast quarter of Section 28, Township 138 North, Range 81 West. This is located on the southwest corner of Highway 6 and 46th Street. So we have Maverick Estates development here. The development site is an 80 by 80 foot leased area on that property. The applicant wishes to install a 190 foot lattice tower with an 8-foot lightning rod. The proposal does meet all the required setbacks that we have in section 5-190 that sets standards for telecommunication towers. It's a little dark, it's in your packet, but that kind of demonstrates the setbacks that the development site has, and they do meet the setbacks. The applicant did provide a letter from the FAA dated April 22nd of this year with a determination of no hazard to aircraft. I had asked the airport manager if she had specific comments, and she said whatever the FAA determines is what, they don't provide additional input. Really, it's the FAA that makes that determination. So the project is not, they're going to have power dedicated. Anyone that might lease a spot on the tower may install a backup emergency generator. The motion from planning and zoning was to only allow emergency backup power with a generator, and other than that, to approve it. So I can take any questions.
Commissioners, any questions for Natalie?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make the comment that there was some opposition from Maverick Estates.
Yes.
Some of the residents that were in that development were quite against having a tower next to their property.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, is there someone from the room that would like to make a comment, or online when we're done with this one?
This is Chris Munson for KGI Wireless and the tower company I represent. If anybody has any other questions, I can certainly answer.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Go ahead, I think it's Alexander.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. Appreciate the time. My name's Alexander Vineyard. I'm a resident of Maverick Estates, specifically at 4566 Trailblazer Loop, which is the closest property to where this proposed tower is going to be built. The map that was sent to us, this is less than 500 feet from our back door. When my wife and I purchased this property a little over a year ago, we did so knowing that there is a substation in close proximity to the property. We have since invested several $1,000s on trees and shrubberies to mitigate the view of that substation, which will be completely mitigated in the next 3 years. Obviously, with the 200-foot tower, there's no feasible way for us to mitigate the view that this tower is going to impose on our property, reducing our quality of life and also the property value for resale purposes in the future. These towers really provide little to no economic benefit for this county, no jobs, no tax income, and the construction this tower is going to pose on the area is going to be a net negative for the wildlife that live in this area as well as the residents of Maverick Estates. So would kindly ask that you reconsider and deny this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Alexander? I don't think so. Anyone else have any comments? Commissioner,
Mr. Chairman, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Mr. Chairman, this was a controversial project at the planning and zoning meeting, but the project does fulfill all the requirements of code. So I'd move to approve a special use permit for a telecommunications tower not to exceed 198 feet to be located on 28 acres in the northeast quarter of Section 28, Township 138 North, Range 81 West, as the project was determined to be of no hazard to aircraft by Federal Aviation Administrative Letter dated 4/22/2026, and the project was determined to meet all the required setbacks listed in Section 5-190 of the Morton County Land Use Code, and there was to approve with the following condition, that a maximum of one generator be located on site and is limited to use for emergency backup power only.
Second.
It has been moved to approve the special use permit to allow a 198-foot telecommunications tower as stated by Commissioner Zachmeyer, if you want to give them that language. I'm not going to try and repeat it. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I just want to make reference to the previous testimony that it's very well noted. My property, I live west of Mandan, I have a Western Area Power Administration transmission line 500 feet in front of my house. I live with it. It's on my property, it was there before I built, so your voice is heard, it's understood, but that is some of the not so much the requirements, it's some of the needs that come into play when you're in a rural setting, when they're trying to, in this case, make communications better for our region. Some of the things we end up having to endure. So, noted. Thank you.
I'd also like to make a comment. I very similar situation. I grew up with 1,000-foot telecommunication towers in my backyard, basically. And you get to the point you don't even notice they're there. And it is a change, but we do need infrastructure also. So.
Any other comments? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Our next item is the North Plains Connector subdivision. This is in the southwest quarter of Section 2, Township 135 North, Range 84 West. The applicant is North Plains Connector LLC. This is located about 5 miles north of the city of Flasher. So this is a quarter section. It's 160.61 acres. They're looking to split it into 2 lots. So the north lot would be where the project is located, and the request is to rezone that to industrial. The south lot would just remain agricultural. So there's the subdivision request, the rezoning request, and then a request for special use permit for energy conversion facility, and then a 4th request for a height variance. The valve halls that they want to construct there can't be constructed just based on technical needs of the project. They cannot meet the 50-foot height requirement that we currently have in the industrial zone. We are in the process of changing our land use code to remove height restrictions in the industrial zone. Since most of the time these are quite specialty projects and sort of vary based on the needs of, or the technology that exists. So we'll probably be catching up to the point where that won't be a variance, but at this moment we don't have our code updated, so that variance request still applies. So that's a general site layout. If the applicant is here, you know, if you have more questions about this, you can ask them. But essentially, you know, a lot of electrical equipment out, and then 2 valve halls that are enclosed. So planning and zoning recommended approval with 5 conditions that are in your packet. They're kind of long, so I won't read them. But if you have questions about them, certainly let me know.
Commissioners have any questions for Natalie? Okay, seeing none, we have any comments from the audience? Brant wants to say something or not? You don't have to. Is there anybody online that's got their hand up? Heidi? Nope. Okay.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, they just put it up.
Okay. Whoop, hang on one second.
To do that twice.
It's coming.
There we go.
Now you can talk.
Okay, thanks. My name is John Canis, General Counsel for the Ocheti-Shikoe Power Authority. That's 7 Sioux tribes in North and South Dakota, and our mission is to develop the energy resources on the reservations of our member tribes. And bottom line, we sent a letter strongly supporting the North Plains Connector. The whole region really is a shortage of transmission, and it's actually preventing our tribes from developing their energy resources. So the North Plains Connector is a great addition to the transmission capacity in the whole region, and that's why we support it 100%. We sent you a letter to that effect, and that's all I need to tell you. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any commissioners have any questions for John?
Just noting I got the letter and appreciate his comments.
Yep, appreciate the comments.
Thank you, sir.
Any other comments? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to see this made into 2 motions because there's a variance involved. I think the variance should be a separate vote.
Okay. If you have them ready.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the final plot of the long-form subdivision known as Northern Plains Connector subdivision, a zoning map amendment from agricultural to industrial for Lot 1 only, and a special use permit for an energy conversion facility known as Northern Plains Connector LLC, as presented, as the site is located in a remote area and is compatible with the surrounding agricultural land uses, with the following conditions. Condition number 1, applicant must submit to a Morton County complete stormwater management plan that meets the approval of the county engineer before the applicant will be allowed to begin grading the site, and before the applicant will be allowed to obtain a building permit. Condition number 2, applicant must execute a road use agreement that meets the approval of the county engineer before the applicant will be allowed to begin grading the site, and before the applicant will be allowed to obtain a building permit. Condition number 3, project construction must begin within 5 years of issuance of the special use permit, or the special use permit is void without further action of the Board of County Commissioners, subject to the zoning administrator's ability to grant extensions of 2 months for good cause shown in writing. Construction means clearing of vegetation, excavation, or other substantial physical alteration of the land. Condition number 4, prior to issuance of a building permit and prior to construction, the applicant must submit an emergency operations plan that meets the approval of the county emergency manager. Condition number 5, all outdoor lighting must be shielded to be directed towards the ground and contained within the defined site boundary.
Second.
All right. It has been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the long-form subdivision known as Northern Plains Connector Subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to industrial for Lot 1 only, a special use permit for energy conversion facility with the 5 conditions as stated. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion 1 carries.
Mr. Chairman, I would next move to approve the variance request from the Northern Plains Connector LLC to exceed the building height maximum in an industrial zone and to allow the valve hall to be constructed to a height not to exceed 100 feet as industry standard equipment required for the project cannot be accommodated in a structure that meets the 50-foot height maximum established in the Morton County Land Use Code for the industrial zoning district, and the project could not be constructed without the height variance.
Second.
All right. It's been moved to approve the building height variance for the Northern Plains Connector subdivision as stated in the motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Our next item is the Meadows off Highway 6 subdivision. This is in the northeast quarter of Section 33, Township 138 North, Range 81 West. This is located about 2 miles south of the Mandan Airport on the west side of Highway 6. So we're looking at this parcel here. The current zoning is agricultural. The proposal was for, to create 2 lots on that 73.23 acres. So this would be Lot 1 and Lot 2. Lot 1 would remain agricultural, Lot 2 would be rezoned to commercial. The applicant, one of the applicants wishes to establish a wedding and community event center on the more southerly parcel. The intent also was to have overnight accommodation with cabins and so forth. The only zone in our land use code that allows for overnight accommodation is commercial. So staff had recommended the applicant use that zone for their project. So in the course of our hearings on this, it's pointed out that we do have section 3-040 in the land use code, which restricts pretty much all development in a certain proximity to an existing permitted animal feeding operation. So we have given the size of the permitted animal feeding operation owned by the Burgers, so Department of Environmental Quality determines that the setbacks for feeding operation are set back from the property boundary of where the pond is located. So the setback that I put in GIS is based on this property boundary, because that's where the pond is. And given the permitted size of that feedlot, which is 999 head, the setback in our code would be half a mile. So this boundary, kind of the frosty area on this diagram, this is that half-mile setback. And so you can see it eclipses all but about, let's see, roughly 1.47 acres in the far northwest corner of the property. And our code states that essentially nothing is supposed to be developed within that buffer, not residences, not businesses, not churches, essentially no development of any kind in that setback. We did get a letter from our state's attorney stating that, yes, indeed, that part of our code applies, which makes sense because it's in the code. And so Planning and Zoning Commission, well, I guess what I should say, I advised the applicant to submit a variance request to the county. And I did confer with Department of Ag. We were trying to determine where these standards in our code would have come from. And it appeared to have come from a state health model ordinance to establish reverse setbacks around established animal feeding operations. And Department of Ag staff and myself, we kind of thought, well, it's probably so that the sense would be the applicant would have to apply for a variance to document on the record that they are moving towards a nuisance and that they voluntarily waive their right to complain about the nuisance after they locate there. That did make sense to me. And so I strongly encourage the applicant to apply for a variance. They did not apply for a variance. And so the item went back to Planning and Zoning to evaluate, purely based on its merits, the subdivision, the rezoning, the special use, or sorry, not special use permit, just the subdivision and rezoning. And it got denied at Planning and Zoning level. So it's kind of a complicated situation. I explained the basics. If you have more questions, please let me know, and I can do my best to answer them.
I think we've all watched the video and
Okay.
and the replay and heard a whole lot.
The epic saga. Okay.
Yep. All right, commissioners have any questions for Natalie?
Okay, I'll
Nope.
shift to online then.
Okay. Does anybody in the room want to make some comments?
Yes.
Security, okay.
Thank you. My name's Chuck Suki. My wife Linda and I and daughter manage the 120 acres just south of the feedlot, of the 48, well, whatever that 40 acres is, that does not have a collection lagoon. In fact, our 120 acres is the collection lagoon for that 40 acres. We were just out this morning, Linda and I, looking at it, because I had planted in an effort to mitigate the damage that's been done by the runoff. I planted some Garrison creeping foxtail 2 years ago because I was told that that was tolerant of super nutrient runoff. And so far, there's some growing, but what really appalled me was that that 40 acre, whatever it is, they've funneled the runoff, and it goes down right into our drainage area. And it's just sterile, looks like concrete. And I'm worried about our trees. But what really stunned me was I didn't know about any of this till the zoning meeting. What was that, a week ago or so? Well, whenever, where it was recommended. And I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it that our property has been devalued, maybe legally, maybe not, I don't know. I guess it hinges on that critical 1,000th animal. And but the 40 acres does not have a collection system. And I had checked with Scott Ressler years ago, 2 years ago, or maybe it's even more, and with the Stockmen's Association, and he is a specialist in feedlot development. And he said, Chuck, he says, they've got to control their runoff. They just have to. And I said, okay, go to it. He said, oh no, not me. You have to make them control the runoff. or try going to the state. So I went to the state, and a young lady named Rachel Strawman came out, and she looked at the situation, and she says, "Oh, this is god awful, but you either got to go to the legislature and have the laws changed, or look at," she said, "we'll come out and take some samples of the runoff." I don't know if that's ever happened. I doubt if it has. So what really hurt me was when a commissioner, in addition to the runoff and the physical damage to this land, and I don't know, I grew up on this property. I plowed it with my dad when we farmed it, and then my dad started raising cattle on it, and it was severely overgrazed. And I grew up hearing about the Suki parking lot over there, and neighbors making fun of it, calling it blacktop. Well, go look at it now. It is just a beautiful mix of perennial grasses, and I'm so proud of it, and it hurts so much to see the damage that has been done to it in the name of feeding the world, I guess. And I know that this has probably no real bearing, but when I heard Commissioner Rohr advise the committee to only consider one thing, he said, only consider one thing, that nuisance half-mile setback. Don't consider the heart and soul of the neighbors, or that maybe they should have been at least advised, this feedlot's going in and your property's going to likely be devalued and likely damaged. No one came to us with that. No one came or with an apology saying, I had one apology from a county commissioner who came to me and said, I'm so sorry for you. I feel so sorry for you. Okay. So these are just, there's more to this than just that nuisance odor setback. And it doesn't stop at a half mile, believe me. If the wind is not right, and if the humidity is high, you don't want to sleep in the laundry that's been hanging on our line overnight, I'll tell you that. And you won't be able to because you'll be having a headache, severe headaches. So there's just, and I don't know, I'm coming at this, I've learned to embrace this and do my best to love my neighbor. And I do, I do my best, and I do, I love my neighbors as part of myself. And I realize that we're all a community, and I thank you for your consideration of building a better community. But there's more to it than just strict abiding by certain statutes. And I want to sleep tonight for a change. So thank you for letting me vent here. And I don't know, as far as the Fredericks have been wonderful neighbors for generations with our family, and I'm surprised Norman's not here, but I cannot speak for them. So I just wanted to have these points been made. So thank you very much. Any questions, any discussion? I was also surprised that the zoning commission, when called for discussion, there was nothing. So if you have a question or a comment.
And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Suki, in your interactions with the state and different people, have you ever gotten any guidance as far as which regulatory agency is responsible for
not really
regulating that runoff?
No.
Okay.
Be DEQ.
It's kind of one of those.
Department of Environmental Quality.
Okay.
It's DEQ.
Well, I think that's Rachel Strawman's department, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm not picking on her or it's, But it seems like one of these catch-22 situations of, okay, you gotta go see them, and they say, it's like the menu you get when you sometimes call a company on the phone, and they say, you know, oh, press 1. And then they say, well, if you pressed 1, if you need this, press 4. And then they say, well, press 4, okay, please press 1.
Mr. Chairman, the reason I asked the question is just to see if you had gotten, you know, any satisfaction, and obviously you haven't.
No, I've not.
And also to make a comment that there's others that have got the same complaints as they drive by that. And so it's something that we can, I can follow up a little bit on that.
Okay. In the name of good stewardship, I feel free to go out and stand on the borderline and look at one side and the other, and which is good stewardship, which is not. So, and again, I embrace Chad as, I love my neighbor, but this is more of a procedural, I don't even know where to go. Now I'm starting to run out of words, and I'll start reciting poetry or something here. But thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks.
All right, do we have any other comments for the issue?
Hi, my name is Norman Frederick. I'm the landowner, and I'll be your first to say I got no problem with feedlots. I milk cows all my life. I know what the smell is. They don't bother me. My biggest issue is, as Chuck said, yeah, the feedlot came in and nobody got to know about it. So I've done a little bit of research. Yes, that feedlot came in 2008. But the law in 2008 said you had to have 150 acres to have a feedlot. He does not have 100, so technically it's an illegal feedlot. The law was changed in either 2010 or 14 down to 35 or 40 acres, but not at the time the feedlot was put up. And as far as the half-mile setback, I went in and checked the laws. It said there's multiple points on where that half-mile setback is set. It's from the lagoon, the barn, or the manure stockpile site, not the whole area of the parameter or where the feedlot is, which would take a big chunk of back off that property, make it still available for building. And that there is my other issue. My family's owned this land since the 1890s. Yeah, I'd love to develop back there sometime, put a house back there. Problem is, the feedlot is here. I own this property, it condemns that. I own this property, it condemns a chunk here. I own this property, it condemns a chunk there. Basically condemns 100 plus acres of my land and me not having any say-so. I don't believe that's right. If we'd have had a say-so on the feedlot coming in and we let it by, yeah, then it's my own fault. That's not the way this happened. And I also did find that there was a similar situation back in 2010 with another feedlot and a gentleman 10 miles west of Mandan, which ended up going to court because there was a permit given and it was going to be put up within a mile of a house. I don't know the particulars on that one. I'm not blaming any of you guys. I know none of you guys were here when some of this stuff was all done. But I think the laws are incorrect right now and need to be fixed. And the neighbors such as Chuck Suki, Tim Keitel, and myself need to be squared up with how our land has been devalued. Thank you.
Any questions for Norman? Thank you, Norman. All right. Is there any other comments? I don't think there's anybody else on. Cheryl's on. All right, commissioners.
Natalie, do you mind putting up that map of the setback? Sorry about that.
Oh, no, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I've been on this board for a couple
Terms.
couple bloody, well, yeah, couple bloody feedlot hearings though, where they were brutal. And, the reverse setback was always brought up. Since that time, been to a few planning and zoning classes sponsored by the Association of Counties. And they would talk about large-scale feeding operations, which this one was initially said to be a wintering operation, which that wintering operation basically no longer exists anywhere on paper. So, you know, that wintering operation creeped into the one up on North 1806 that is now defunct. And that was supposed to be a wintering operation, and pretty soon that one went out of control. So what these would say at those classes though is there should be a movement. You have your feedlot, then you should try to put in industrial next to the feedlot. Then industrial should move into commercial. Commercial then should move to residential. The goal wasn't that there wouldn't be any development next to a feedlot. The goal was to push residential as far away from it as you possibly can, and then the landowners between the feedlot and the residential would still have some type of development rights. That was what basically the main idea of that class always was. So when this first came up, I was thinking residential setback from the beginning. And to change it to commercial next to a feedlot, I thought would give it that natural progression, pushing residential away. And this did become heated. Now, Chad Berger, I understand what he was saying. There's a half-mile setback. But a lot of neighbors jumped onto the bandwagon and used the half-mile setback to try to kill basically the entire project. We also got the freedom to farm. And when that congressional or North Dakota constitutional amendment was passed, now this is a freedom to farm. So now the neighbors want that to stay ag forever because there's freedom to farm. So now what do you do? How do you remedy it? In order to do this project, the cabins that's going to end up being a dead issue. There's no way, there's not going to be enough land. And a variance is only supposed to be a minimum easing of the rules, which is why I wanted a separate vote on that variance on the previous project. Variances can be used as a political tool to benefit one person over another because we're just going to give them a variance. But the next person is going to be held to a strict requirement. If you're going to approve a variance, make it a separate vote and then stand up for what you believe in. So how can you put a variance on this piece of property for the wedding venue only, and it's going to have to probably go up in that northwest corner? Now it's about how big would the venue be, what can they put into that northwest corner, and then request a variance to have it in the northwest corner, which I was visiting with Natalie, and she says there's a minimum acreage for basically a commercial lot. Well, I don't care about the parking lot. I haven't yet met a parking lot to complain about an odor. So it's about where do they put the building. And if there's, I wish it was a topography map. I did go out and look at it. It's rough back in that northwest corner. There would have to be land moved. But if the majority of the project was into that northwest corner and there was only a minimum easing of the half-mile setback, it's possibly doable. But the developer never requested a variance. The rule is in place, there's no way to get around the rule. Even if you did, somebody's gonna bring up freedom to farm, and it's gonna end up in court anyway. But the rule is there, it's a half-mile setback. We had to vote on it on the rules as is, and that is why there was the motion at planning and zoning that passed to deny. It's one of those things, you don't have to like it, but this is what the rules are. And if you try to just go away from the rules, that's when you're gonna have a lot more problems, and poor Mr. Copy is gonna be in court a lot more than he'd like to be. So that is how I see it, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that is what I see here. And the neighbors in that area that fought this, they jumped onto that half-mile setback, and they wouldn't let it go. And I don't know if that is necessarily right or not. I do believe Chad Berger was right. It's his feedlot. I believe he was 100% right. But I also believe the neighbors were trying to find something to try to kill it, and they want that whole area to remain ag forever, which now affects Mr. Norman's rights. And there's no easy answer to that. Unless you guys have another easier answer.
Mr. Chairman, could I make a comment as well?
Yep.
You know, in all due respect to Mr. Frederick, I know you just made the comment that we devalued or planning and zoning, and if we deny this, we're devaluing the property. I would take exception with that, and again, respectfully, because it's still zoned agricultural. Nothing's changed there. But and as far as Commissioner Zachmeyer has commented, I'm not opposed to other development going next to a feedlot. Personally, I don't believe a wedding venue is the best use of that property. And, you know, it's just one of those things, you talk about intermingling and what's proper and what isn't. Some of those things are judgments, but I think planning and zoning was probably correct, and they may have been looking for, this is legally how we can deny this. I don't believe it was I don't believe the project is appropriate for this location. Other opportunities for commercial uses, yeah, quite possibly.
Any other comments? Any other comments in the audience? Excuse me.
My biggest thing is, this was an illegal feedlot to begin with, and now he's taking all my rights away. What's being done about that? That's my biggest concern. Like I said, I don't care about a feedlot, that don't bother me. He's doing fine there. Just don't take my rights away when I had no right to say whether you could come in or not. The laws weren't followed there. I'm not saying I want to break the laws now, but if that's an illegal feedlot, then there ain't no setback either then, is there?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know when it was for sure constructed, but I believe it was abandoned for a period of time.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
If I could say it was developed in 2008 and the law was changed in 2010 to 2014.
There were, when it reopened.
When it went from Keitels over to Berger.
Okay, I don't know, I don't remember what year that was, but I was on the board when that occurred. So it really should have been a public hearing. And Auditor Trotter at the time, this is where that wintering feedlot terminology came and more or less burned us. This is supposed to be a wintering feedlot. It's only supposed to have cattle in it from basically October through the end of May, I believe it was the kind of the regulation at the time, if that sounds right.
Right around there.
And then the rest of the time, it would have been rodeo bulls. And so no public hearing was scheduled. But some of the neighbors did appear. And the common argument was is they were not going to oppose it, that it was reopening. They didn't necessarily like it, but they had total faith and confidence in Chad Berger and Fred Berger running feedlots, and they felt that, not talking about the part, I've been out there too, I know what you're talking about, Mr. Suki, believe me, I know. That part wasn't part of it, it was just that other part of the feedlot there. And they were very confident that if it would have been any other developer that they didn't know, they would have fully opposed it. But since it was Chad Berger and the Bergers, they were confident that that would be run as a clean operation and be a benefit to the area. So that was where that ended. There really wasn't a whole big public hearing. A few of them said, well, we probably should have one, but then, well, it's a wintering feedlot, it doesn't require one, and the permission was given to reopen it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Could I
Natalie?
provide information about the permitting status?
Sure.
So, Morton County, we require a special use permit for a feeding operation of 1,000 head or greater. In May 5th, 2009, Department of Environmental Quality issued a permit for a feeding operation for 999 head. So that permit was acquired by Mr. Berger from DEQ. It didn't need to go through a local process because we only permit for 1,000 or greater, otherwise it doesn't exist according to our standards. So that's one way to get around if you're having issues. And DEQ doesn't send notifications to the neighbors, so I think that might be where this got hung up. So it was properly permitted, but the permit expired in March of 2014, and it has not been renewed, but DEQ did not send a formal notice, at least according to staff. I spoke to staff, I'm taking them on their word that they're referencing records. I said, okay, so was it that they just didn't renew even though they got notice? And DEQ said they did not send the landowner or permit holder a notice of the expiration. One would assume that it would be clear that your permit had expired, you know, from 2014 to today, but it has not been renewed. DEQ put it in an extended status. So it's not necessarily in violation. DEQ put it in extended status, whatever that means, since 2014 through today.
In addition to that, though, there was no permit for the quarter to the south of that.
So
There is no
correct.
permit for that.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
But in defense of Mr. Suki, I've
Oh,
driven by there
100%.
many times, and yeah, there's issues with that area as well.
Absolutely. That was never
And-
permitted by anyone.
And we're getting off topic here a little bit with our, what is in front of us from planning and zoning. So let's get back on topic here and be more germane to the subject. So we're discussing whether what we do with that recommendation from planning and zoning on that property.
Mr. Chairman, you ready for a motion?
Yes.
You know, Mr. Chairman, the rules are what they are, and we have a state's attorney's opinion. So, Mr. Chairman, move to deny the request from Norman and Sally Frederick for a long-form subdivision to be known as Meadows Off Highway 6 subdivision, and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to commercial on Lot 2 of Meadows Off Highway 6 subdivision, as the property lies within the animal feeding operation setback overlay district established in section 3-040 of the Morton County Land Use Code.
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to deny the final plat of long-form subdivision known as Meadows off Highway 6 subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to commercial on Lot 2 only. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any discussion? Been requested a roll call vote, so Commissioner Zachmeyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Tokash,
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Buckley,
Yes.
and myself, Commissioner Bame, yes. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I just want to make a comment to the developer, though. Very novel concept. I applaud the concept. I wish you well in future possible location, but I applaud the concept.
Yep. And I want to thank everybody for their comments. We know about that other quarter section down there that DEQ's needs to be talked, have some more discussions, so definitely.
So, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to make a note, the planning and zoning subcommittee that's working on the data center specific use standards, they've met twice. I think we shored up some issues pretty well. We're gonna meet again on July 7th at 1:30, and that meeting is kind of intended for industry representatives to be there and talk about what it looks like. I did send that out to Terry Efforts, the draft. So the draft is online. It's available for the public, for anyone to look at and comment on. It's in the news and project information page of the planning and zoning portion of the website. So if anyone has comments, they can email them to me. We'll discuss it at that next subcommittee meeting, and I would encourage any of you to kind of start familiarizing yourself with the draft. If you need me to email it to you, I can, but it is out online instead of sending 5 separate emails. So that's all I wanted to say, just make you aware.
She should send 5 for somebody.
You could email all of us, we just can't answer you back on the same day.
Oh, okay, I get confused about that, okay.
Yeah.
If you would like me to.
We just can't reply all.
Okay, would you like me to email you a link?
As long as, Mr. Chairman, as long as the version online is the latest and greatest.
It is.
I'd rather work with that version, so I'm always have the latest.
Yes, and that is,
Yeah.
it's fresh
Yeah.
just today. We
Yeah.
made updates just from
Yeah.
the committee
Okay.
meeting today.
We'll get it then.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Next on the agenda is Don Roan. We have some appointments for our boards.
The first one on the agenda is Park Board, and we had a little discussion about Kevin Himmelschbach today with Wendy regarding HR, because Kevin is last year he filled in down as the park host at Grainer when Glenn wasn't able to, and it was kind of a temporary situation, but now with him being an employee and being a regular employee, regular park host down there, it's a conflict of interest as him being an employee and being on the park board. So Cody did reach out to Kevin, and he said he will withdraw his application to be reappointed. So we have 2 appointments, or 2 positions open, and really only 1 applicant, which would be Dan Shelsky. So we'll have to continue to advertise for that other position.
And we need to appoint Dan. He's been to the last 2 meetings we've had, so.
Mr. Chair, of course, you and myself, we serve as portfolio holders for the Park Board. We did discuss that at the Park Board meeting today, as far as Kevin Himmelschbach serving as the camp host at Grainer Park and serving on the board, so that was all flushed out already. Dan Shelsky, for the listening public, he is filling an unexpired term. His resume is included in our packet. Dan, of course, spent numerous years working for North Dakota State Parks, most recently retired from park manager of Fort Lincoln State Park for countless years. So obviously it brings a plethora of experience for not only the park system, but the holistic approach to Morton County parks. And he's a good friend of mine. But I'd make a motion to appoint Dan Shelsky to a 3-year term expiring June 30, 2029 to the Morton County Park Board.
Second.
been moved and seconded to appoint Dan Shelsky to the 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2029 on the Morton County Park Board. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
The next one is the Planning and Zoning Board. Jesse Kist has resigned, and so that leaves his position as an unexpired term that is open. And then we have 2 regular board members whose terms are expiring at the end of the month. So we have 2 applicants, Amy Nelson and Dwayne L. Jr.
Who's the other one that's expiring?
I'd
Because
have to
Dwayne
look.
is on there, so he's up.
Yeah,
Amy's new, right?
yeah, she's new.
So
Dwayne is
I was just
currently
wondering
on
who
the
the other.
board.
I was just wondering who else is going off. Oh, Dennis Rourke.
Dennis Rohr, but they will appoint, the city will appoint somebody for that.
Yep,
Okay, so that
that's a
doesn't-
city appointee position.
Yep.
That one doesn't count, so somebody else must be going off then.
Let me
Well,
look
new
here.
elected. They just had their election, so.
No. There's, if Amy's filling a spot, if we approve Amy, there's somebody else that's not reapplying, is what I'm going for.
We need, Mr. Chairman, we also need to make a motion to accept.
That was my next question. Do we have to accept that resignation? We should get a resignation from
I thought it's in
Kevin-
here.
Kevin, too.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, no, because his term's expiring, so he doesn't need to.
Yep.
Got it.
Resign.
Yep, sorry. Thank you.
Yep, and resignation from Jesse is in here.
Yes, that one we need to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I would move we approve the resignation of Chairman Jesse Kist off the Planning and Zoning.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resignation of Jesse Kist from the Planning and Zoning Board. Is there,
Can we add the effective date?
Effective July 1, 2026.
That way he can serve.
To the end.
Tomorrow.
He
Tomorrow.
can still serve tomorrow.
Okay. Effective July 21,
That's what
2026.
the letter states that as well.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I guess, Mr. Chairman, I would like to say that I'm really going to miss Jesse on the Planning and Zoning Board. I'm sure Commissioner Zachmeyer can echo that. He provided a lot of expertise to the board, and we are really going to miss having him on that board.
He was an asset,
Um,
real asset.
He, of course, resigned from the Park Board, which is how Mr. Shelsky came into that seat.
Yeah, I would echo those comments. We've all watched planning and zoning, even if we haven't been there. We've watched numerous meetings, and he knows how to run a meeting. He's done a fantastic job, and it's gonna be hard to replace him.
Yep. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the resignation for Jesse Kist, effective July 1, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
So it's Becky Wald and Dwayne L. whose terms are
Becky
up.
didn't.
Oh, so Becky didn't apply.
Apparently not.
Okay.
Okay. So we have the 2 appointments for 2 4-year terms, and the one unexpired, we haven't got an application for yet, so, 'cause that just happened. So we're filling the 2 4-year terms. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve to have Dwayne L. reappointed to the board. He provides a different experience. He's worked in construction, he's past Mandan, no, he's on the rural fire department, and so I think he would be, he is an asset to the board.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to reappoint Dwayne L. to the Morton County Planning and Zoning Board. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Ray, you seconded that, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know this Amy Nelson. I don't know if anybody else on the board does.
I know her vaguely. She used to be a neighbor of mine a couple doors down, but looking at her, again, applaud her for applying, but I question where her knowledge, credentials, capability would be for the Planning and Zoning Board.
Mr. Chairman, my view on this is planning and zoning is one of the, let's say, one of the most important boards we appoint people to. They do a lot of work for us, and I wish the applicant was here.
Yeah.
But at this point, I wouldn't be afraid to leave the position open and ask for additional, advertise for additional applicants.
Or have her tell her that if she wants to come to our next meeting and visit with us, we can revisit it, but,
I would support Commissioner Tokash's remarks.
and I am on the same page too. I'm trying to figure out where she would fit. And not saying, just because she's in the nursing side of it, doesn't
Right.
mean she has no background in planning
Right.
and zoning. I mean, we look at the Mandan City Planning and Zoning Board, they don't all fit either.
Right. And
But we would like to talk to her.
that's my point, just to give foundation, is that, she gives a great resume for her nursing experience, but there's zero information.
Okay, so if there's no motion at this time, we will leave that one open.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I'd like to make a comment. Is there something online or with the application process that it says that we would like to have them here for the meeting when they apply?
No.
I did a little looking, and part of this, the resume that was supplied, the objective should be to be on the board, and a cover letter and so on and so forth, but our application process and what I saw doesn't encourage or allow that, so.
In that same remark, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I had a brief conversation and sent a couple of examples to Wendy, our HR director, about working with the new website and building a new form that has a lot more information collection that's relevant to the respective boards that they're seeking. That way we can flush out the information a little bit better.
The vetting process would be a
Yes.
little more clear then.
Yes.
And I will follow up with that, see if there's anything we can change to.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're restricted with certain technologies, so.
I'll send you that, what I sent her. I'll send you that.
That's what I was thinking too.
She'd fit really good in social services, wouldn't she?
Social services or the Western Plains Public Health?
Yeah, she'd fit wonderfully there as far as her.
Based on
resume.
this information, yeah.
What we have in front of us.
She might have made a mistake when she applied.
It's possible. So it's a good one. We should talk to her and see where we're at. Okay. If nobody wants to make a motion, then we'll move on to the
Okay.
TARHSZ board.
Three Rivers has Rose Lawson's term expiring at the end of the month, and she has submitted an application, and along with Christine Wallace, and that's a 3-year term.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to comment that Rosemary Lawson has been a very dedicated person to the Three Rivers Human Service Board. She's been on for many, many years. She makes it to all the meetings, and so she's got a lot of experience on that board. I do not know the other applicant,
Both look
Christine
qualified.
Wallace.
She looks qualified, though.
And again, if she was present, then we can have that opportunity to meet them, ask questions.
Mr. Chairman, I served with Rose Lawson on
So Three Rivers.
social services also. Very dedicated. I'd have no problem reappointing her either.
Okay.
She is definitely dedicated to that post. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yep.
Is that a
Yeah,
motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to reappoint Rose Lawson to the Three Rivers Human Service Zone Board.
Second.
Paul beat you, Ray.
Yep.
I'm just writing here. All right, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Rose Lawson, reappoint Rose Lawson to the 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2029 for the Three Rivers Human Services Zone Board. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, and the last one is the school reorganization.
So it looks like we have 2 appointments. I was just gonna open my file
2 and you
back
only got 1?
up here and see who the other, person is that is expiring there. I just shut my file. I should have to open.
Yeah, we only got 1 to appoint though. We only have 1 to appoint.
Oh, no, who else is,
Dennis is on there already, isn't he?
So the other is Robin Thiel is the other member whose term is expiring, so I'm not sure if she reached, if we heard back from her or not, I'm not sure, so.
Dennis Guston was on there though.
Yes,
too.
Dennis is
So
too.
that's a
He is still,
reappointment.
Yeah, so we'll still have
Yeah.
one that we have to keep
So we'll-
advertising for, or reach out to Robin and see. if
So
she's
we're gonna
interested.
have, just for sake here, we have 1 school reorganization yet. We have 1 P and Z unexpired term and 1 park board term that are still
Yes.
out there.
Yes.
Okay, just so we know. If we know anybody or anybody that listens to this afterwards, because I don't think anybody's online anymore.
Well, I have no
Let people
certain
know.
school superintendent that just recently retired.
You call him. Think he wants a break.
I think so too.
Well, this board has met only like 3 times in 15 years, so.
Okay. That might still be a break.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve to appoint Dennis Guston to the this Morton County School Reorganization Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to reappoint Dennis Guston to the School Reorganization Board for a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2029. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. That it, Don?
Yes.
Election stuff is all good, canvassing board is done, so
Excuse me.
all turned in. Next, we have other groundwork at courthouse, grounds work.
I talked
Jackie?
to Blaine yesterday. We kind of did a walkabout around the courthouse. I suggested some things like some deadheading things on the old flowers. Also, he asked questions about whether, I asked him about planting flowers. He didn't really know anything about the flowers. I asked him to check with Jaden Russell, the extension agent over at the extension office, and he told me today that he can buy the flowers and there will be some 4-H members here to plant. I talked to him about the tree on the north side that probably should be cut down. The cedar trees on the southwest corner of the courthouse that look kind of shabby, about possibly taking them out. He asked about the planter on the west side. I said, I don't know about that or where we're at with that.
The membrane was repaired, so it can be, the objective was to take as much of that soil out of there and use foam as a filler and put minimal amounts of black dirt back in.
Mhm.
But was pretty laborious because you can't get in there with a decent backhoe, so it ended up being shoveling by hand.
Yeah. Well, it's cleaned out.
All the way down.
No, it is
Correct.
not.
Correct.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to shovel it all out to replace the liner because the liner didn't go all the way down.
Right, correct.
What I would do is recommend that they level out the soil that's in there, and then add decent topsoil on top that'll survive the plants. I don't know what the water situation is. There's a bunch of hose and pipe to the north of the planter. I don't know if that's ready to be put back in, where that is. Jenny Wetch was there when we talked in, one of the social services employees, said that if we get the plants, there's some ladies there that would help plant. But if we don't get a water situation in there, that's the big maintenance thing if we don't have automatic sprinklers in there to water, because it's very hot there and the plants are definitely gonna need water.
Yeah, you'd have to put in echinacea or daylilies or something.
Well, and I kinda question whether putting perennials in there, because I'm not sure that they are going to be able to survive the winter if we put perennials in there. They might freeze out. I don't know. It's not very wide, and so I think we might have problems with winter kill if we put perennials in there. I have a concern.
Certain ones you could try.
You could try, but I'm not gonna guarantee they're gonna make it. There was the cedar and the juniper that was in there before. It did survive, but I guess I don't know.
So
If there's enough heat coming from the building on the opposite side, that'll keep those perennials alive, I guess I don't know.
So the bigger question is ensuring we got water.
Right.
And then, if we fill it, we fill it. The preferred method is get as much of a void in there and then put topsoil in. That's.
Yeah. You want to leave at least, if you're going to put any amount of plant in there, you're going to want a good foot of soil.
Yep.
I mean, especially if you're going to overwinter any perennials, you're going to want more than a foot.
Right.
Just depends on what you put in.
Well, you're not gonna get a foot because it's only
Down.
about down, but the sides.
Right.
It's only about
Right, but I'm
this
talking
wide.
depth to get your
Yeah.
roots down, or you won't have anything survive if you try it. But, yeah.
I can check with Jake to see what he knows on that watering
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, because he was part of the getting that dirt out, getting that repaired, so he would probably know where that water is
Yeah.
then.
Because if it could be hooked up to that, spigot that's out there, you could tie into that.
Well, I
Somebody
think
would
it-
just have to go out and turn it on.
It was at one point, from my understanding, and if I remember correctly in my conversation with Jake last year, that was direct, not wired, but whatever you call it, plumbed in somewhere at one point, so.
So it's likely it'd be a metered connection for a drip system.
Well, it was hooked into the building somewhere. I mean,
Right.
Somewhere.
Where he would have that insight, at least be able to give
Yeah.
Blaine more information.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And then to add to that, the flowering crab that is on the corner is pushing up the cement on the sidewalk. And there's a trip hazard there and we're gonna have that eventually with all of the flowering crabs that are on the south side of the complex. I hate to say, I'm a native North Dakotan, to take trees out is probably a no-no.
Don't kill a tree.
But if we're gonna have problems with the whole cement work on that south side, and we removed all the ones on the north side because of decaying and rotting trees, because of falling on cars, we're probably maybe gonna have the same issue with those on the south side as well eventually. So I just wanted to bring that up for a topic of conversation. I don't like to remove trees either unless I absolutely have to, but we have to watch out for other expenses that might be incurred with the trees that are planted there.
And it does not matter what kind of tree you plant, they're gonna push them up eventually. Some take a little longer.
One comment for you, Jack, you'd be passing on the blame, but I also believe that the Daughters of American Revolution helped with plantings also.
Okay.
I know I've talked several times with Danae Kautzman, and she brings that up.
Yeah. We've also got your Bismarck Mandan Garden Club.
Yep.
Your master gardeners. There's options.
Almont Garden Club.
Yeah, they're all part of the
Make
company.
a road trip.
The catch is we can plant it. Who's gonna water it on a regular basis?
I would just encourage if, we've already repaired damage from that flower bed, and those used to be the thing, everyone wanted that, but you've got to be on top of it, and someone's got to be constantly maintaining them. We talk about the water. If you don't drain it down early enough in the fall, then all the dirt freezes and you push it away from the building, and we're back spending a lot of money again.
Yep.
So I would encourage, if we're gonna do something, keep an open mind and maybe fill it with rock and put containers in there or something. I don't know. It doesn't have to go back to a flower bed, so.
Maybe the recommendation is have Blaine work with Extension and develop a planting plan. And then bring that to the portfolio holder and
And it might not be a bad idea, Paul, you know, fill it with some sort of rock that has drop-in planters, where you just put in annual planters in there. Water them, and then in the fall, you pull out your plants and you have an empty void until spring again. So then you don't have that expansion, contraction of your dirt.
Or else you just plant annuals in there.
Right.
And then,
But you eliminate the dirt by doing, like what he said, with a planter type thing.
Right.
because then you got the drainage.
Mm-hmm. The building's gotta make it another bunch of years, so.
sorry I took over your job there, Andy, but he asked me some questions when I was in the auditor's office, and
Went for a walk.
we went for a walkabout.
A walkabout.
No, I'm all right. Thing about putting in the junipers is drug paraphernalia that was being dumped there when people forgot it was in their pockets going to court. Been a few syringes,
Yep.
a few marijuana pipes pulling out of those junipers. And then during the DAPL protests when they were out there, a few more syringes, a few more marijuana pipes showing up.
Few more blunts.
And I like that planter out there. You know, it's gonna take staff to keep it maintained. You know, wild tree was growing up there that would have blown it out. And it took forever before staff finally took care of that wild tree and took it out of there. And if staff isn't gonna deal with it, then I agree with Mr. Tokash. Plug it and abandon it. Because now we're, still have the plans for a beautiful war memorial. Staff's gonna have to take some interest in it, or else what are we doing?
Yep.
If there's one thing I'm tired of hearing about is how that's not in their job description.
Don't we all have the JDQ that says other duties as assigned?
Well, that's not their job description. And why are you talking to me? Because you're not my portfolio holder. I'm getting tired of listening to that crap.
You're welcome to talk to anyone at all in my portfolios.
I know, but that is what I hear.
Yep. So. All right, well, we'll let him take a look, talk to Jaden, so we'll go from there. Is there anyone online, Heidi? Security? That's it? Okay. I will open the public comment hearing as required by NDCC 44-04-20.1. There is no one in the room, there is no one online, and so with that, call any public comment. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. And both of those occurred at 7:31, open and close. With that, does anyone have anything else good for the order? Commissioner Burrell?
Just update to the commission. Made reference to it at the park board meeting today, but I also spent this afternoon at the North Dakota Historical Society with Heritage Center, talking with three professionals there regarding Greenwood Cemetery, ongoing research. It was very rewarding dialogue with them and the resources that they had to include aerial imagery from the early 30s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s of Greenwood Cemetery. So there's some interesting developments that we saw on pictures. But again, it's still ongoing. They gave me their digital files. and going to purge through that, because that will also help quantify grave names, because we have not so much burial records, but we have plot purchase records. And I believe Wendy may have had that data before, but her information also disappeared. So anyway, being able to put a lot of this stuff pieces back together again. And on the senior center activity, the Council on Aging pushed out an RFQ, received several inquiries from several architectural firms. We are interviewing 2 of them, doing a walkthrough this Thursday, and the committee will be doing interviews on those 2 architectural firms in the coming weeks, and they will make a decision after that for the Custer School renovation as a Morton County Senior Center. So that's still moving.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything good for the order? If not, we are finished our agenda. We
Motion
are
to adjourn.
adjourned.